All right, everyone, get in here, sit down, and shut up. We've got stuff to talk about. This is your Week 4 pick'em. We're going to start with a Thursday night game where the 1-2 Dallas Cowboys take on the 1-2 New York Giants. As I said in a previous video, anyone who loses to the Giants is a bad team this season. But I don't think that will be the Cowboys yet. The Cowboys will win this game in New York. They will probably end up putting up quite a few points, I imagine. They're probably pretty mad after their last 2 losses, although not much they can do about it because the Cowboys probably suck, but they don't suck as much as the Giants. The Saints are going down to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, big-time division rivalry here. I don't think the Falcons are going to have a problem with the Saints. I think the Saints are fool's gold. I do think those first 2 weeks are definitely them overachieving, although I don't think this will be a blowout. I bet this will be a very competitive game. I'm predicting a lot of points in this one, as I imagine it just ends up becoming quite a bit of a shootout. Even with the shootout, I think the Falcons will have more points by the end of the game, and they will get back to 500. The Bengals are going to Carolina to take on the Panthers. I don't think they have much to worry about here, while I do believe Carolina had a heck of a game against the Raiders. It's the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are very good this season. I do think the Bengals are better than 0-3, though, and I don't think the Panthers are as good as 1-2, if that makes sense. I believe the Panthers will go back into the loss column here. Cincinnati probably takes out some anger here. They have a better defense than I think they let on Monday night, but the Panthers may still put up some points thanks to Andy Dalton. Overall, though, don't think the Bengals will have much problem with this win. The Rams are going to Chicago to beat the Bears. I do not think the Bears will be a very good team this season. Caleb Williams might have some good games here and there, but they've got a lot of work to do. Rams will take this one easily. Vikings going down to Green Bay to take on the Packers, and I think the Vikings will roll out of there with another win to go to 4-0. Packers, while playing pretty decently, backup quarterback against one of the best defenses in the league. Don't care who you are, they're going to have some trouble here. And it may be a close game, maybe not a lot of points scored, but I do think the Vikings win this one and go back to Minnesota undefeated still. Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Houston Texans. Jaguars look like booty. So I'm going to take the Texans here and imagine that they get back into the win column after that loss to Minnesota in Week 3. Jacksonville goes to 0-4, and who knows what happens after that with them, but they are in a world of suck right now. Steelers going to Indy to take on the Colts and come away still undefeated. That stifling defense of the Steelers is going to have a field day with Anthony Richardson. He's a bit of a turnover-prone man, and it will show against the Steelers, who will go in there and come out of there probably with like a 17-3 win. Like maybe not even that. Maybe 10-3. I'll say 10-3. Put money on it. 10-3. Broncos going to New York to take on the Jets. I think the Jets are going to 3-1, unfortunately. Can't see the Broncos winning another game here so early. While they did get a good win there this week in Week 3, they are not as good as I think that win looked. Still surprised they beat the Buccaneers, because I think the Buccaneers are actually a good team. But I think it was more of a fluke than anything. I think Jets will show that the Broncos aren't that good. Philadelphia going to Tampa Bay. Philadelphia hasn't won in Philadelphia yet. They're not playing in Philadelphia, so I'm going to go with the Eagles here. I think the Eagles will squeak one out, even though I do like the Buccaneers this year. I'll be honest, I'm rooting for the Buccaneers because I can't stand the Eagles right now. Their head coach probably has one of the most punchable faces in the entire world. While I would love the Buccaneers to win, I do think the Eagles will end up with it. 2-1 Redskins heading to Arizona to take on the 1-2 Cardinals. I believe their records do not reflect their talent. While the Redskins do look like a pretty well put together team right now, and maybe a solid candidate for 9-8 or maybe 8-9, I believe the Arizona Cardinals are a bit better than 1-2, and they're going to end up with the win here. Short week for the Redskins. Also, they got a long trip to take from Washington to Arizona, so almost a East Coast to West Coast kind of deal. That short week doesn't help. So I've got the Cardinals winning this one. We've got 2 1-2 teams here, as the Patriots will fly all the way to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Generally, I do not like when a team goes from the West Coast to the East Coast to play, or vice versa, and in this case, I still don't. I do think the Patriots are probably in for a butt-whooping here, as the 49ers need to get back in the win column and need to show that they're better than 1-2, which I believe they definitely are. I don't think the Patriots are going to have much to do in this game other than just watch the 49ers score a bunch of points against them. The undefeated Chiefs will get their first loss against the Chargers this week. While I think the Chiefs have probably gotten away with a few here to get to 3-0, they're playing yet another good team that's going to probably pound the rock and smash them in the mouth, and I think it's going to catch up with them without the primetime lights. So I see the Chargers winning this one. The Browns take on the Raiders. Who cares? We'll say the Browns. The undefeated Buffalo Bills will head to Baltimore in the Sunday night game Another primetime game for Buffalo. They're looking good. They're looking good, but I think they finally have, and this will probably be the first team they've played this year that's actually good. So I think that they won't. I think they won't find it as easy to beat the Ravens, but I think I'm going to have to pick Buffalo. How do you pick against them right now? As good as they looked, I know, against the Jaguars, how do you pick against them? They look like they're rolling on all cylinders. The Ravens look like they're kind of stumbling. Their defense maybe not quite rolling yet. So it could be a 1-3 start for the Ravens here as Buffalo comes into town. But maybe Lamar Jackson finally, unlocks the Buffalo's defense. Buffalo's defense, by the way, top 3 in the league. The Steelers, the Vikings, Buffalo, there's your top 3 defenses in the league right now. So we'll see how they do against the Ravens, but I got to go Buffalo, and it hurts my soul. The winless Titans won't be that anymore after they beat the Dolphins in Miami. The Miami Dolphins are a great, amazing 2-11 in primetime and playoff games since Mike McDaniel has taken over, and it's about to be 2-12 because they are just all sorts of terrible right now. And every time I watch them, they lose. So guess what I get to do? I get to watch this game, and it'll be just enough that the Dolphins will be like, oh, watch us crap the bed, Josh. The undefeated Seahawks will be getting their first loss in Detroit against the Lions this week. The final game of Week 4. It's tough for me to pick against the Lions this season. I think they are a good team. As I may have said in my recap if you watched it, and I say may have because I can't remember if it was the recap or the picks for Week 3, but I think the Detroit Lions could be a sneaky pick to just win the whole thing. They've got everything going for them. If they can avoid injury, they're going to win the Super Bowl this year. Just plain and simple. They are such a good team, and I think they'll show this by giving the Seattle Seahawks their first loss. All right, those are my picks for Week 4. Like the video if I picked your favorite team to win. Comment down below if I picked your favorite team to lose and tell me how wrong I am. Either way, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and you take it easy.